What's going on, guys, and welcome to Dragon Style Games. Please, guys, before we get into this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the Twitch as well, and also check out the Discord as well. We can chat, DM me, whatever you guys want to do. I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, let's get into this video. And today we are going to be talking about some club conquest strategy, guys. I've been trying to make this video for a while. With all the things that have been dropping lately, I haven't had time to make this video, but now I finally had time to make this video. And I must say, Club Conquest is my favorite game mode in all of DSA. It is definitely my favorite game mode because you get exclusive content through Davy Jones tokens. So this is really the only way you can get Davy Jones tokens, unless you use the Premier or Prime, I forget what it's called, exchange, which costs a lot and it's not really worth it. So this is really the only way you can get it. And also you get, club coins, you get some other tokens and whatnot. You get some good gear drops, especially like gear 7 gear. Even though it's not too much, it's something. So it's some way to really boost up your your storage or your arsenal of stuff of what you have in your overall as a player in this game. So that's why I love Club Conquest. But also you get to really interact with your team. You also get to use teams that you probably wouldn't use in generally, because pretty much your starting five is what you're going to use most of the time, and because you need to utilize all your teams, with the most being 50 characters. The most you can use in Club Conquest is 50 characters at any given time. So there's that to it too, at least for defenses. My apologies, I meant defenses. Max you can do is 50 characters for defenses, and you can use as many attack, I believe, from what I remember. I could be wrong on that, but anyways, guys, let's get into this because this is going to be very important for people, because I know this is a very sought after content for Club Conquest and how to play this game effectively. So our first tip, and pretty much the most basic tip, is to be on Discord. If you're not on Discord yet, I don't know why. Like for Club Conquest, it doesn't make any sense if you're not on Discord, at least, or some other group chat, something, I don't know. Use WhatsApp if you want to just get some synergy going with your team. Of course, there's synergy within your team in DSA, but I'm meaning as your club, you're some team synergy. Okay, who are we gonna attack? What are we gonna do? This type of thing. Which team is better? Because I've never actually been in a Club Conquest where one team was, equal as everyone else. Like you guys were all equal. There's always been a really good team, kind of bad team, and the middle team, and we've been in each part. Like I'm pretty sure we've been like the worst team out of the three, we've been the middle team, and we've been the best team out of the three. Depending where you guys are at, it just really determines how you guys are going to be effective as a whole. But that doesn't mean just because you're the worst team you can still win, because Club Conquest, like I said, all it has to do with synergy of your team as a club. Of course, you need good synergy within your teams in the DSA, but as a club, as a cohesive unit, you guys need to be working together in order to win it, because we've been probably outmatched. I would say like probably a good 500,000 or a couple 100,000 summoner score total difference, if not more. And in terms of powerful teams, for sure, they've had several players in 6 figures and up, and we may not have been there yet. And of course, as time goes on, your team will get better. But with that synergy, you guys are going to have a lot better chance of fighting, because there's no IN team. If you guys work together, you're going to be great. So Discord, #1 place to go. You guys need to have that. And that goes with my second tip, which is that you guys should be having only leaders set out teams. Now this was a rule that my team had. They specified it with me early on, and I made sure I followed it. Make sure your leaders put out the teams, especially in the beginning of the game. You guys need to have your leaders put out the teams, because they have the overall roster of the team and know which teams can go where. And especially now with these towers with affiliations, those team leaders know where to put these teams. They can see, hey, there's a Big Hero 6 team. You may think like, oh, I have, Big Hero 6 team, full roster. Besides Baymax, you have Fred, Wasabi, Gogo, Honey Lemon, and Hero, and they're all like on a gear 5, level 55, something like that. And well, actually, someone on the team has 7-star gear 7 purple Big Hero 6 team with Baymax. So let's put that instead at this tower. Now, it's not gonna happen all the time, but that's the point of why leaders should put out the teams, because they can see the full roster. Yes, you can see the roster as well of the entire defenses of your team, but you can't place them. So that's why I say let the leaders put out the teams, because they can see the full roster, have a full understanding of where we're going to attack, where we're going to defend, which is the best place to put these teams. So that's what I recommend. Do not, even if you think you have like the best roster, let the leaders put them out there because they can see the full roster and know how the team works. And you know, just because you have the best, you know, defenses doesn't mean it's the best time to put it. Actually, to me, the best time to put it is when you attack somewhere and put a big fat team on there, then they can't stop it. You know, it's gonna be hard for them to stop and reclaim that tower. So that's another tip I'll give out later. So anyways, on to step number 3, or tip number 3, which is going to be you have to have good teams with synergy. This game is all about synergy. Like I said, you're going to be using teams that you don't normally use. So if you put teams together like your Incredibles team, like generally you probably would put like, I don't know, Gantu and Bubbles, Elsa, Anna, and Dash as a team, or maybe put another character there, Maui, instead of Anna, put Elsa and Dash. That's a great super team. But in terms of how Club Conquest works, it's not always going to be good. You're going to need that synergy. For instance, there's an Oceanic Tower. If you put Elsa and Stash there when you have Maui, Gantu, and Bubbles, you might want to put Stitch and Moana there, which is already a good team by itself. And they have a good synergy, so putting them in that Oceanic slot would be even better. Now you may want to put like your Incredibles team together. You may want to put your Big Hero 6 team together, which is already great. There's great teams by themselves, but of course, cherry picking the characters you want in your starting 5, and you know, in PvP or tournament may be your choice. But in this sense, you guys want to have that good synergy, because synergy is key in keeping these teams strong and defensive, everything like that. Especially like, for instance, Kingdom. They have Foul Play with Aladdin team specifically. There's some bonuses there. You want to also map your spells as well. Like for instance, I believe, what else? There's other spells. Mythical has Mortal Potion. I believe they have another spell that works well with them. So look out for those. So it's actually, yeah, it's Mortal Potion and the Headless Horseman that gives Mythical bonus. So look at that too. Toy Story is another good one. Now you may not always put Zurg with the Toy Story team, but putting him here maybe with the Fear team and maybe Bo Peep or Buzz, something like that, putting them together and then Toy Story team, I've heard it's been very effective. So put those Toy Story characters together, you never know. The one lacking here is Princess Tower, and I think that just needs some work. The Onward team, everything like that, all good. So it's kind of became team synergy, but also which towers are effective for affiliate. So I think the only one I'm missing is maybe Tech, and Tech is, you know, on itself. They're good by themselves anyways. And Mythical is kind of lacking right now. Let's say out of the 6 towers, the best ones are definitely Oceanic, Toy Story, Big Hero 6, and Oceanics. I think I may have said Oceanics twice, can't remember. I'm just going off the cuff with this guy, so I apologize if I'm kind of all over the place, but this is kind of what I'm talking about in terms of Club Conquest, what you're trying to do. And I'm looking forward, so hopefully they can put some more affiliate towers in here. Maybe switch out Princess for Kingdom team, or maybe specifically an Aladdin team. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a fan of Aladdin team, so that's why I like that team. Anyways, on to our next step. Just a quick recap. Make sure you put your teams in synergy. But just for our next tip here, it's actually going to be some actual team strategy. So this first strategy that I'd like to use is actually a very aggressive strategy, and I don't normally recommend it if you don't have a very strong and cohesive team. If your team is not active on Discord, you guys can't do this right. Don't even attempt it, because it's not going to be effective. So it really depends on where you attack from. I call this either the L attack or the T attack. So if you're attacking from C12, it's called the L attack. If you're attacking from C10 or C11, it's called the T attack, just because of the way it looks. So your first attack, if you attack from C12, which is the one I recommend out of the 3 ways of attacking this, is to see we are the blue team. If you go from C12, you want to go vertical this way, C12, C7, C3, and then attack C1 and C2 over here. So what does this do? When you attack in this formation, 1, you have a direct line to their home base, and 2, once you get this horizontal line here of C1, C2, C3, we actually cut off from getting their points altogether. So let's look over here. Let's say that this green team has A12, A11, A7, A6. If you cut them off A1, C2, C3, you cut them off from getting any points altogether, which is pretty powerful. I think we did that with the red team over here. We actually cut them off over here. That's why they had to recapture their home base, and that's why their points are so low, because we were able to cut them off for a good while. It's a good way to cut off a team. For instance, if you think a team is very powerful, this is one I recommend using. If a team is very powerful and you are like outmatched by them by summoner score and what you think overall of them, I recommend doing this against the big team. Why? Because you're gonna cut them off big time. If you cut them off in the beginning of the game, and you can get some good point advantage over there, because right when you get like 1 tower, you go from 12 to like 20 or something like that. I forgot exactly, but get a big point increase. So once you get 13 towers, you get a bonus. So definitely do that. I think if you look here, so you go from 12 to 20 points per minute, which is a big jump. And the more points you obviously capture, the more points you get. So definitely recommend, if you guys are going to do this, go straight line and go across in the L formation, especially against a very powerful team, because if you cut them off first, then they can't get any points, and that point difference is going to be important for a good buffer later on in case they do catch up to you. And then also over here, another variation of this is going C11, C6, C2, and then capture C1 and 3 simultaneously, or you can go C10, C6, or C10, C5, then either way you go to C2, and then you go C1, C3. Now this can obviously, because of the way the map is, it's the exact same thing if you go on either one of these sides over here. Virtually the same. It's just how the formation is currently, how I'm looking at the map right now. So, and that is another way of doing it. That is more tricky because you can get attacked by both sides, and you're going to have to push on either side in order to maintain that, because let's be honest, if you go this way, you only have one side to worry about, and you can capture these flags going into a full flush over onto the left side over here and just taking over. Let's say you went and took over like these points over here. It makes it easier. Now this is not a foolproof thing to do because it is connected to home base. At any time they could recapture these points, but it's a good way to make sure you have a good buffer of points in between the two of you guys, especially like I said, if you're going against a much powerful team. I recommend this because you'll be able to get that differential in points and make sure you guys have a good strong lead against them. And I think that's pretty much it for this T or L attack, whatever you want to call it. But that's how I look at it. Now to strategy number 2. Now this one is a little more, I would say, uniformed, a little more refined, much more strategically thought out. And this is what I call I don't even know what I'm gonna call it. It's a modified attack. I call it like a horizontal vertical attack. I'm not, like I said, I don't have a name for it, but this is my second strategy. What you're gonna do is capture C12 through C10. This, make sure you guys go in a 3-pronged attack, because the downfall about the previous attack, for instance, if you're attacking a straight line, which I never recommend except if you're going to do that attack, the L attack, you guys can get cut off at any point. So let's say you had these points over here, C12, C3, and they cut you off at C12. Well, now you don't have any points getting claimed over here because you don't have them connected over here. What this does is a very thought out and methodical attack. You guys capture these points here, C12 through C10, then you move on to the next one, which is what I call a double L. So I still have to make up a name for this, but what it's going to look like is you're going to go C10 through C11, C12. This is phase 1. Phase 3 is C9, C5, C6, C7. That's phase 2. And C8, C4, C1, C2, and C3, that is phase 3. So these different phases make it very effective, because at no point are you really going to be under attack of losing points, because you guys are well connected. You guys aren't going in a straight vertical line, so you guys are going more horizontal, so it's going to be harder for a team to really cut you off at any point. They're going to have to recapture point by point, which is what I prefer this method, because it is effective. Though I think the downfall to this is that because you're pushing forward, the other team could attack one of these teams, and therefore they still get points. So there is some downfall to it. It is a slower attack. I would say it's more resourceful, because you are going to be going after each and every tower instead of, for instance, the L attack, which is more aggressive but does have a bigger drawbacks. In terms of maintaining, you're going to be, in this instance, you're going to be using a lot more resources at a more collective rate. So it is, I would say it's more effective in keeping a strong front attack, but it's not the best in terms of maintaining resources, because you are going to be using a lot of resources. So that pretty much wraps up that second strategy. And that is, I wouldn't say that's my favorite strategy. I still prefer the L attack because it is more aggressive, and so you can just go in there and get that big lead. This one you can still get a big lead because you get a good point lead and maintain it, because like I said, there's no really, you can't pinpoint where you can cut off someone, because there's just a lot of points where they have to get in order to quote unquote cut you off. So that's why I like this method. It's very effective, and we've used it before, but lately my team has been getting more and more aggressive, which I kind of like because you get that bigger difference. You actually get more score per minute at that point. So it just really depends on how your team feels. Like I said, it's all about team strategy, team synergy, and how you set up your defenses and how you attack. So those really are like my two main strategy attack types. In terms of defense, there's no like true tactic for defense, except like I said, I guess this could be considered a strategy, my third strategy, which is to put your defenses strong in the beginning, but keep your very strong teams for later. For instance, if you're to take over here and do that L formation, you really want to keep that team from not getting points. Put at least one or two really strong teams, and like if you're gonna go in this L formation here, put one or two really strong teams in each one of these towers, like talking about like 3,700, 4,000 and up, because they're gonna be a harder team to attack, especially if they get synergy. It's gonna be a very, very hard team to bring down, even with persistent health. It's gonna be hard, especially if you have like a very strong Oceanic team on C2 and you capture that. Put a bunch of strong Oceanic teams on there. You guys should be able to hold that. This goes hand in hand of you know, attacking and putting defenses, which is very, very critical in order to make sure that you have a strong attack moving forward and get as many points as possible. Now, another thing I recommend, this is not necessarily a strategy, it's a tip. Before, like when you get your opponents for the week, I'm pretty sure you guys are probably doing this anyways. Scope out the other team. I mean, literally just go here. Go here, look at their roster. They have a full roster. Let's look at their summoner score. Let's see. They have a pretty wide range. You know, they have some 20,000s down here, but they also have some almost 250,000 guys up here. So they have a pretty wide roster of players. Now also look at their last check-in. This will tell you how active the team is. If you see like a handful of guys here, like 20 days, something like that, they're not an active club. An active club means that the entire roster is being active in the club. And when you look at the roster, you're going to see like how effective they are. If you see a good team will have like very tight-knit summoner scores, because that means, let's say for instance my team, we kind of have some tight-knit grouping. You see we have, I would say the tight-knit grouping starts in this 80,000 over here. 80,000 and up, very tight-knit, and then you have like these just group of people inching their way into 100,000. This is pretty solid because each of these players in this 100,000, 90,000, 80,000 probably has at least one team of 7 stars. That means they'll probably have a team at least of 3,500 roughly, or 3,000, which is a pretty good team to have out there. And then you have your other characters up here, or other players up here that have, you know, higher teams. But a good team will have a pretty good spacing, or a pretty good collective center, or mean, or median, where they have strong summoner score, but also strong teams. And those are teams you got to watch out for. If you see teams with like wide range of summoner scores and differences, and also like being active in the team, like how active they are, like one of those last check-in, those are teams you don't have to worry about too much. Sure, they might have like 1 or 2 players that have good teams and are harder to fight, but look after those strong teams with, you know, very close summoner scores and that are very active, because those are teams you're going to want to attack first, because they're probably going to attack you first. So it's better to be the one to attack than to defend, in my opinion. So guys, I hope this was helpful. It was really kind of like, I just felt like I wanted to make this video, and I know it took a while for me to actually do it. Please leave a like, and I really appreciate it. I hope you guys found some usefulness in this, and if you could please like, subscribe to the channel, go on the Twitch. I Twitch nearly, I would say about 3 to 4 times a week, and also check out the Discord where we can chat and stuff like that. Anyways guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.